Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is your host, Rising Oblivion. Today, guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Persona 25th anniversary. I was gonna hold off on talking about this until the last, announcement or two was done, but I kind of want to talk about this thing now because I don't know what it is, but the Persona 25th anniversary is just, such a mystery as to, what was going on, how this thing was planned. But let's go a bit of a rundown as to what kind of happened here with the Persona 25th anniversary. I'm slightly disappointed as to what happened here, and I think everybody else is as well. But let's just go ahead and just talk a little bit about, how this thing went down and what basically happened here. So we knew the Persona 25th anniversary was from September 21st to fall 2022, which we have basically going on. I mean, that's true. They have been doing that and everything, but it says fall of 2022, and I think we thought that it was supposed to be just August or September this would end, but we have this timeline here. And we've known that we've had this timeline to show us the different dates, or basically we could kind of do the math and divide things up as to how many announcements we would get along the way, or, how many months between would we actually get one of those Persona Times events, which the Persona Time events is when Teddy or Megane would come on the screen and say, hey, here's all the new stuff we have going on, here's this, here's that, and we even got a version of it for the West, Persona 25th Times West, which was cool. And I really enjoyed that. I like the way that they did it. Don't get me wrong, I think that's really cool, and I think the West getting some representation is also very cool as well. But let's look at this Persona 25th Anniversary project. And we can see that we have it here, and there's different things you can click on. They had Ultimax, which we knew had gotten released, Exclusive Collection, which is just the 25th Anniversary merch and stuff, wallpapers, yeah, not a lot of people are caring about that. And then they have these blank spaces, which I'm clicking on it, not clickable, doesn't really do much. We used to have an entire timeline to show this type of stuff. Here's the thing. We know for sure that this is kind of not something they kept up with. The timeline thing here kind of got shattered. They added more dates, they got rid of dates, they kept going back and forth on this a few times as to how many of these dates they wanted to actually add. When we first originally had it, I think we had 7 or 8. It's kind of hard for me to remember because they've changed it a few times, but they've changed the number of these little spaces here. Instead, it would be multiple of this question mark spaces, and you'd have the actual timeline that you could click on, that you could see that you had further down, and it would basically would say much later or whatever, and it would just basically have multiple of these here. And like I said, you could kind of do the math and divide up by how many months, and kind of predict when there was supposed to be one, but things have changed for that, and I kind of think I know some certain reasons as to why maybe they added dates or got rid of dates for the anniversary, and I think I know the reasons why as well, because there's a few things here, right? First things first, when you look at this, there's nothing talking about the, sort of announcements for, having the Persona games be brought over to, PlayStation, Xbox, and stuff like that. We don't have any of that here when it comes to this website, which, should have been a big announcement, should have been something they have here, but they actually haven't, talked about it. And that's kind of the interesting thing here as well. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax was also announced beforehand and not actually during the Persona 25th Anniversary project. That wasn't the first place it was actually announced. The Persona games being ported over and brought over to, Xbox, Steam, and whatnot is going to be something that was announced somewhere else and not actually during the Persona 25th Anniversary project, which blows my mind. Why wouldn't the things that are Persona related first be here at the Anniversary project? It kind of just feels like they made this anniversary project be kind of something that wasn't as important, because all of the big hitting things like the ports and stuff like that, and Arena, Ultimax being brought over to everything else, and now we have netcode and certain things with it. It's like, we have all of this stuff being announced at different places, so why would I go here? Why would I wait here for this stuff? To get more merch? That's just about all that they shill out when it comes to this stuff, or Japanese only types of things like the P Live concerts and stuff. So especially if you're someone in the West, this doesn't really, you know, do a whole lot for you. So it's interesting why they have so much good stuff not here. You would have figured that they would have tried putting more of that stuff here, but it's not. And you know what? Maybe it makes sense because there is much bigger audiences at these bigger events like E3, which that's not where things were given out, but just for instance, these different events are bigger events. You know, Ultimax got seen by a much bigger audience than just having one video here on the, you know, anniversary project. It was later eventually brought to the anniversary project, but same thing with the Persona games. Now those got shown somewhere where it was a much bigger, you know, sort of umbrella of stuff. It got shown off with Microsoft, so we know now that that's, you know, obviously a pretty big place for these games to be shown off. And then it got shown off later. I think it got leaked by PlayStation, but PlayStation eventually, you know, sort of said, yeah, it's coming over to all the other different places, and now we know it's on Steam and stuff as well, which I think might be part of the reason why they added dates for the anniversary, but then got rid of them. Because they're like, oh, well, we just announced all this stuff somewhere else, so we actually don't need an extra date in the summer, because we just announced it all somewhere else. So maybe they were trying to, you know, have these extra dates in place for if they needed them, and they did think they needed them, but ended up actually getting a spot, like, with Microsoft. So like, oh, you know, never mind, we actually don't need that extra 25th times anniversary date. We can actually just, you know, shorten that up and just add, you know, a much bigger date later and just sort of talk about things there. So I think that's sort of what ended up happening. Like, you know, they have a certain window, you know, like in the summers when they announced the Persona ports, right? So they planned on maybe doing one then because they knew that's the only time they could have had it. But nope, they ended up having a time with Microsoft, so they were like, you know what, forget it, we don't actually need that one there. We're only going to talk about the ports, so let's just actually save that for a later date and just have more stuff ready to go for a much bigger, like, anniversary event type thing there. So I think that might be what we kind of seen with that, and I hope this is making sense. I think it is. They had stuff to show off, showing it off somewhere else, so they didn't need an extra date, which I think is what they're doing here. And now we don't have that longish timeline showing all different dates. We just have this one here instead that's not clickable or anything, which I think is just them sort of saying, we don't know how many more of these we're going to be doing. We have at least another one, but we're not sure how many more we're going to be having. I think that's kind of where we've come to at this point. A lot of the bigger things that actually, you know, are super important are not announced during this event. The Persona Live thing, you know, where they do the concert, that is important because potentially at the end of that, we're going to have release dates for games and stuff. That might be the most significant-ish thing, especially if you're a person who's caring about the games. But in terms of, you know, just straight up just the games, you'd have to sit through the entire concert. Not a lot there. I mean, Ultimax, like I said, and the Persona ports got shown somewhere else. This is mostly merch and stuff, and to be fair, it's not like Atlus came out saying, oh, this anniversary event is going to be giving a lot of games. They never actually said that. So we can't be too upset about that. I'm just sort of saying for face value what this anniversary has kind of been and the history of it and how things have went down. So that's kind of where we're at now. We don't exactly know. If there's going to be another big announcement, potentially it might not actually be here. So that's kind of is what it is. And we're going to have to just sort of look forward to these as what they are. I mean, it is close to being over. We are now in fall of 2022, or, you know, close to it, I guess you could say. But we're pretty much there. So there's only going to be one or two of these probably left. So let's fingers crossed that it's something decent, something good. But, I don't know. I'm not super optimistic, I guess you could say. I don't know. Let me know what you guys feel. Overall, with the Persona 25th anniversary, do you think it's been sort of lackluster? Do you think it's been fun? Do you think it's been, you know, just whatever? Did you not have high expectations? That's kind of how I've been going into these from now on. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching.